Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Welcome along. We are back in our regular slot on a Friday for our weekly catch-up here at FTUK. How has your week gone? I hope it's gone really well. Certainly better than mine. I didn't have a great week in the markets this week, but I judged the Federal Reserve wrong in the middle of the week. But it was interesting, but it wasn't as profitable as I was hoping it was going to be. Yeah, I hope your week has gone a lot better, and your evaluations or your instant funded accounts are showing a lot of green pips for the end of the week. So it's Friday, so we're on a wind down, so congratulations if you managed to make it all the way through to Friday. We've got quite a few things to talk about. We always do end up having quite a few things to talk about, but on the menu for today I want to talk a little bit about prop trading regulations. This is an important one. Since we started doing the live streams, I've been on about this all the time. We definitely want to see more regulations in the industry, so I've got a little news story that I want to just bring into everybody's attention, talking about the new regulations that may potentially come down the road later on into the end of this year or into next year. We're going to do a small, not really a workshop, but I want to do a heads up on which prop account is right for you. It can be confusing. There's a lot of prop firms out there, so I want to talk about how to pick the right prop account for you, depending on where you are in your journey. We've got some fantastic, amazing news with DX Trade and TradingView teaming up. I want to touch on that because DX Trade is an amazing platform, and this is going to be a real game changer, I think, in terms of bringing TradingView charts into the DX platform. And then we've got a great weekend offer for you just to round the week up as a whole. So yeah, definitely should be a good session ahead. So hello to everybody on Discord. Hope you're doing well. If you have not joined our Discord yet, make sure you do. All you need to do is scan the QR code in that corner over there. So I'm going to get the camera right in that corner there. Scan that QR code and then get yourself on the Discord. We've got about 3,000 clients now on there. So it's really good to get everybody's input on there. Any questions that you've got, our moderator is incredibly hardworking and incredibly knowledgeable as well. So he will help you out as well. So yeah, hello to everybody on Discord. Hope you've had a good week. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about prop trading regulations. This is from an article that came out beginning of the week, or I think it was maybe the end of the week before, from the Czech National Bank, talking about prop trading regulations in the European Union. Now, anytime you get a big bank come out and actually say something, stick their head above the trenches and actually say something about prop, you've got to listen. So these growing sort of murmurs for more regulations seem to be getting a little bit stronger, and the Czech National Bank, just putting some documentation out about that. It obviously kicks up a lot of debates online, as you might imagine, with a lot of varying opinions on what is the right type of regulation, whether we need it, whether we don't need it, whether, how it should be then brought into all that kind of stuff. Is it really needed, and everybody's opinion, from the extremes to everything in the middle as well. Now, the blend is that we are going to end up with a situation where the prop industry is regulated, and it's going to be a mixture of new trading rules versus the current types of rules. Oh, there's two hands in there. I apologize. Let me just remove that one from there. That's a little better. A mixture of new rules and also the current rules that are in place for your traditional retail trading brokerages. But what you've got to really remember, and what needs not to be lost in this situation, is that the prop model, the prop business model, and the prop companies, we are not brokerages. We do not take deposits. So it is different from a financial point of view. Now, whether there's regulations then need to come in to put certain parameters or certain guidelines in place, so there's certain protections, okay, that is completely different. But just saying that to class prop firms as retail brokers, I don't think that's a good idea at all. The general consensus would be for more transparency. Check. Absolutely agree with that. Some form of payout protection. How that would work, I don't know. Whether that's some sort of insurance contract, but you shouldn't. If you're trading well and you're working with a proper prop firm like FTUK, you shouldn't have an issue with that, as long as there's nothing wrong with the trading record that you're producing. But there could be some sort of mechanism, and usually things like that are done through a third party, something like that. And then this I do agree with as well is stats on failure rates. So if you are a retail brokerage in the European Union, in maybe in other jurisdictions as well, but certainly in the EU, you have to put some sort of a disclaimer on the top or the bottom of your website stating that CFDs are complex trading instruments and you need to take it seriously. And this is the percentage of people that trading with this firm do not succeed in making an overall profit in the long term with CFDs. That rule for retail brokers has been around for a while, certainly a few years. traders. Now, I see no problem with that kind of thing being brought into the prop space. And if it does make some attempt to actually clean it up, then yeah, I think that's absolutely fine. There are a lot of people that fail in this industry, but that's always been the same in markets. The point is that if you, not everybody loses all the time and not everybody wins all the time, but it's where you are in your journey. So, I've been trading for 16 years and I've gone through my fair share of losing trading accounts as well, and my fair share of really well traded, profitable trading accounts. But that's the same for everybody, So it's one of those things where more regulation is probably going to be a good thing, and we definitely champion it. But it was brought out by the Czech National Bank, and I'd also add into that as well that FTMO, who have now become a brokerage as well, they are also in that area of the world as well. So the timing of that's kind of interesting. I don't know, but but it's there for context. So yeah, you should be aware of it. And of course, any changes, we will obviously bring that to everybody as soon as we possibly can. Right, let's talk about choosing a prop trading account. Now, it can be a little bit confusing, but basically what you've got to remember is two core things: instant funding and evaluations. That's basically what we do at FTUK. The instant funding is pretty self-explanatory. You pay your fee, you pay to get access to not just the risk, but the technology, the community, all of the stuff that goes, the support, everything that goes along, the payment processes, everything that goes along with a proper account. You get that in an instant funded environment. You get that live account, and then off you go, and then you trade, and then you withdraw your profits as long as you're hitting your marks. It's pretty simple. Usually they are for the most experienced traders, but also there can be a tendency of people that are either lazy, or they don't want to do any work, or they just think that they can just gamble. They are a popular instrument for that, and that's not necessarily a good use of an instant funding account, but there is a need for them there, and that is the basic basically how they work. They are not complicated. You then have to follow the trading rules. The second way, and this is the more traditional way, when I first started trading, a prop company was a physical place where you went to sit on a floor and you were evaluated for a period of 6 to 8 weeks on demo accounts, and then you were given a small amount of money. You would trade futures contracts on one lot of futures contracts, and that's that type of thing. But that was a more traditional evaluation model that has been taken and added into the modern day online prop company. And now that evaluation model really comes in two flavors, and this is where it gets confusing for a lot of people. That's because we have these terms, one step and two step, and if you've never done it before, it does feel a little bit strange. It doesn't really, particularly with a lot of firms having a lot of variations of that, with lots of different rules dressed around these different terminologies and these different accounts. But at the end of the day, we're all talking about the same type of thing, and I put this together in a nice little presentation. So the instant funding pretty much takes care of itself, but evaluations, all you need to think of is by thinking as if it's a test. Some sort of a test to test your ability in the market, your skill set as a trader, and if you pass that test, then you become funded. That's basically all that evaluation is trying to get towards. You'll see them, they're called different things. Sometimes they're called a challenge. Some firms actually call it a challenge account. We don't do that here at FTUK. We call them an evaluation account, but it's essentially, we're talking about the same thing. But the goal is very, very simple, and that is you've got to hit the target and you've got to work within the risk parameters and the rules that are set out by the prop firm. Now, this is the bit that gets confusing to a lot of people. We split that in two, and we either do a one-step or a two-step. Okay, so what exactly does that mean? If you're trading a one-step, you basically have the account where you're trading and you're hitting the target in one movement. That's basically what it is. So if you look at this diagram here, you can see the top right here. Imagine that's your target here. This is where you're starting from, and this is your drawdown limit. Very similar to an instant funded account, but you've got to pass that evaluation. And once you've done that, if you've adhered to all the criteria, then you're good to go and you'll be funded from there. You have to upload your driving license or your passport. That's how we do it at FTUK. And then you're good to go. That's all in one movement. So hence one step to become funded. Yeah, so it does make sense. Now, that's quite a streamlined way of doing it. And you're going to have quite a high target to hit. It's going to be quite specific because you've got to remember the prop company doesn't know you. So you have to prove yourself that you're able to work within the rules that the prop firm is actually laying out. So they're going to put a certain set of criteria around that are going to try to test your ability as much as is possible within that one account, within that one step. Okay, break that down a stage further. Instead of just doing that once, let's double it up. So instead of doing one step, we will do 2 steps. This is basically it. All you're doing is a 2-step evaluation, is basically where you're doing the same thing twice. Occasionally you'll get some variation between the first step and the second step, but the primary thing to understand is that if you're asked to trade for a firm and you're going to trade profitably to a target within those rules, you're going to do it once, and then you're going to be essentially going to be asked to do it again, what is called a verification challenge or something like that. And the idea behind that is to weed out anybody that just happens to pass a 1-step through luck alone. So if you think about it, if you've been trading for any length of time, you'll know that you can be lucky in markets. You can just rock up at the right time, click the button with a huge amount of leverage, and but if we were all really honest, does that make you a good trader? No, not at all. I mean, it really doesn't. So that's what the idea of a 2-step is supposed to do, because it's supposed to say, okay, congratulations, you've passed. Now what we want to do is see if you can replicate that consistency, because all prop firms want consistent traders. And this still gets lost on so many people, but that's what we are looking for. So the 2-step is a little bit more tricky. Well, it's not a little bit, it's a lot more tricky, because to get funded, you're really going to have to say, yes, I am a skillful trader. Yes, I have learned my craft well, and I can manage my risk accordingly. As a result, you tend to find that 2-step traders end up being better traders down the road, because they've had to sit within the structure that the prop firm has laid out in the 2-step program, but also of they've shown that over a longer period of time in their skill in the market as a result of that 2-step program. But you are going to get some differences between the 2-step and the 1-step. So first up, because you've got to do it twice, you're probably not going to have to hit as high a target. You might also get a little bit more room on the drawdown, a bit more flexibility. Maybe some of the rules are slightly different as well. And that's really because it's much slower. It's a slower process, and it's harder because you've got to essentially do it twice. But you're also going to find as well that it's cheaper. So a 1-step is going to be a little bit more expensive than a 2-step, which is obviously going to be cheaper because it's a lot harder and it's going to take you longer to get funded. So as you can see, it's not that complicated. It's just that what you get with one side, you get with the other. So that really, what you get with one side, you lose with the other. So that really puts us into a situation of thinking, well, what is the best answer for you? What is it you want to do? What is it you want to achieve? Well, that really, really does depend. And it depends on who you are as a trader, where you are in your journey as a trader, and how experienced you are. Now, that is not an easy question to answer if you've never done any prop trading before. And it is different from traditional retail CFD trading or forex trading with a normal broker. If you're still learning your craft, then it could be that the 1-step is not going to be for you, because it's going to cost you a little bit more money to get involved in the first place. And if you've never done it before, you're going to maybe make a mess of the rules once or twice, and that's going to be a little bit more expensive. So for guys that are just starting out, the traditional 2-step can be a better way of doing it. But there's no right or wrongs. It's really just up to the individuals to decide. Always remember, though, that when it comes to trading any prop accounts, slower is always better. It really is. We have a lot of traders. We have some very, very good traders, but we have a lot of traders that they just want to burn through it and get there as fast as possible. So speed ends up being a massive motivator for them, and you add that with leverage, and it starts to become very difficult to manage risk, particularly if you're not massively experienced. So always think slowing it down. So that's where the 2-step can be a really, really good a really good idea. Now, there's a phrase that I really love that I saw Jeff Bezos do in a lecture once, talking about the US military, and it's this. So if you're thinking of thinking that you need to get somewhere really, really fast, slow is always better. And the phrase is, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Think about that one tonight or over the weekend. It's a really, really good phrase, and it really paints an accurate picture of how a prop trader should really approach their craft on a day-to-day basis. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Never, ever forget that trading is a marathon, not a sprint. So true. So that's a look at the different accounts we offer at FTUK. We offer an instant funding model and essentially a 1-step evaluation, but things can change. And this industry does change very, very quickly. So none of this is always set in stone, and if the clients, if they demand a particular type of product, That is our job, to make sure that it is there for you. Okay, right. Now, this is the exciting stuff. Let's talk a little bit about DX Trade. DX Trade are fantastic. They've been so good to us. Radoslav and the guys over at DX Trade do an amazing job, and we're very grateful to them. It's a superb platform. We've been through the functionality. The app is amazing. That we've got the FTUK DX app on the Android store is absolutely fantastic. And we found out this week that DX are now going to integrate TradingView charts. Now, TradingView is just so hugely popular as a trading platform, as a charting platform. It's got from professionals to retail traders alike. It's free to get an account there. Everybody learns charting and markets on TradingView in some capacity, so they get very used to the fluidity of how the charts work and the tools and how to draw things and put the different indicators on. It is an amazing tool. So bringing all of that HTML5 charting application into the core of a heavyweight platform like DX Trade is, wow, I mean, it's amazing. It really is amazing. So I cannot see how this is not going to be an absolutely massive success. So just imagine that you've got the execution and the tools on offer by DX Trade, but then you've got your trading view. It's all knitted in there for you. So as soon as this is all up and running and it's ready to go, we'll be sending emails out and we'll be talking about it in the live streams and making sure that everybody is in the loop, because that is going to be something that I think is going to be incredibly popular. TradingView is a bit like Photoshop. It's just the industry standard, so it's a really, really good bit of news. So as soon as we get some information on that, we will definitely bring it to you. Okay, right, so that's it. That's pretty much everything that we've got. So finally, let's talk about our weekend offer. If you are in the markets for an instant funded account or a one-step evaluation account with FTUK over the weekend, we've got a fantastic 40% discount. That is absolutely outstanding on all of our accounts. Just put in the promo box, put YOY40 into the promo box, and you'll be able to get a massive 40% off any purchases that you make over the weekend. It's just the weekend, so make sure you take advantage of that over the next couple of days. Okay, right, that's it. That's everything we've got for now. So thank you very much for joining us today. Hope your week has gone well. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you all